and I got somebody here that would like to help us all become educated on the need for Black people to become bone marrow donors and everything else. And so before I begin, I want to ask everybody, if you're in here, please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe. Also, remember that we're Black first. We put our community first in this platform. So put hashtag B1 in the chat if you believe that our community should come first and that we need to prioritize ourselves and we want to build for ourselves. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our special guest today, Dr. Andrea Gillespie. Dr. Gillespie is the head of a group called Angels in Disguise, and they focus on creating awareness that saves lives. That's what I see actually literally right here on the screen. I'm actually going to share the screen so you guys can see the website. And it has to do with a lot of things, but we'll get to that in a second. But here you can see Angels in Disguise. Their mission is to conduct research and create awareness about the bone marrow registry and the critical need for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to join the registry and donate bone marrow if matched with a patient in need. So this is their website, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second. But without further ado, I'd like to ask Dr. Gillespie, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Good to see you. So, Dr. Gillespie, bone marrow and African Americans, let's start from the beginning. So, Angels in Disguise, I described based on what I read what you do. Would you like to describe what you do for us in your words?
Yeah, so what we do is a lot of people aren't aware. First of all, a lot of Blacks and the people in the Black community aren't aware of the bone marrow registry. So we try to create awareness about the bone marrow registry and try to dispel some of the myths about bone marrow donation. And so the reason why this is so important and critical in the Black community is because our match rate is only 23%. That means anyone that's in need that's of Black descent, 77% of them will die looking for a match. And the reason.
Whoa! All right, wait. So 77% of, just so I can restate that to make sure I understand. So you're saying 77% of Black people who need bone marrow die because they can't find a match.
Correct.
Is that accurate? Oh wow!
Correct.
Oh, please continue.
But that's because a lot of people aren't aware that over 90% of bone marrow matches occur within the same ethnicity, and that's because you do not match based on your blood type. You match based on your human leukocyte antigen, or what you call HLA genetic marker. And so that is very unique, it's hereditary, and it's very difficult for Blacks to even match with Blacks because of the diversity of our HLA genetic marker. So if you look at the continent of Africa, how many countries are there? And then how many tribes are there within each country? Then there's intermixing, and then there's intermixing outside of Africa. So our HLA genetic marker is the most diverse in the world. And to give you an example, there's over 7 million Caucasians or whites that are on the registry, and that garners them a 77% match rate. However, for Blacks to meet that same 77%, remember for whites is 7 million, we would need 23 million on the registry just to get to 77%. So it's very important that we get on the bone marrow registry so that we can cure Blacks that have blood-borne cancers, such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemias, myelomas. Did you know that a bone marrow transplant actually cures sickle cell anemia? A lot of people aren't aware of that.
I did not know that.
Yes.
How many of you all knew that? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you knew that a bone marrow transplant can cure sickle cell anemia. And also give me a yes or no if or let me know if this is blowing your mind. In the first 3 minutes, I had no idea. I had no idea that it was that deep. So 77% of us who need bone marrow transplants end up dying because they can't find a match. Because we're of African descent, it makes it harder to find a match because of the complexity of our, you said HLN, is that right?
HLA genetic marker.
our HLA genetic marker. I'm in class. I'm taking notes, Dr. Gillespie, just so you know. So our HLA genetic marker is super complex, so it's very hard for us to find a match. And so for whites, they have 7 million on the bone marrow registry, but we would need to actually have 23 million in order to find the right amount of diversity. Is that correct?
Yes, to even get the same percentage of matches as white people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what led you to be passionate about this topic? Is this something that you've been involved with your whole life, or did you have a personal experience that led you to get involved, or how did you end up where you are right now?
Well, fortunately, I didn't know of anyone that was in need of a bone marrow transplant. However, I did join the bone marrow registry back in 1994. There was a bone marrow drive at my job at the time. And I joined and didn't know anything about the registry. So I was just green and joining and not knowing what it meant. 7 years later, in 2001, I became a match with a Black gentleman that was 46 years old with myelodysplastic dysplasia. And I donated, and there's 2 ways to donate, and we could talk about that in a moment. And I donated the surgical way that time. Unfortunately, 3 weeks later, he did pass away. And then not until 2015, December 1st, 2015, I was a donor again, and I donated the non-surgical way. And that was for a female, Black female, 43 years old with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And at the 3-week checkup, I was contacted and they said that she broke records. She was out of the hospital. She was considered cured and she showed no signs of rejection. And I just thought, this is something, this has to be my mission. I need to get the word out there because it is an incredible feeling knowing that you literally saved a life.
Wow. Everybody who just came in, I'm talking to Dr. Andrea Gillespie from angelsindisguise.org. And her mission in life is to convince us to consider donating bone marrow because a lot of our people die from not being able to get the bone marrow that they need. And also, if you could, please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. This is why we have Black media, so we can put ourselves first. And also, we know health is wealth. So this is why we have to talk about health and relationships and all these other issues that relate to wealth. We can't just talk about our economics, which we do on a daily basis. So let me ask you this, Dr. Gillespie. So when it comes to bone marrow, my perception had always been that giving bone marrow was complex and painful. Maybe I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd be curious to know how would you respond to me if I said something like that?
Well, there's 2 ways to donate. There is a surgical process and there's a non-surgical process. I've done both. The surgical process is the one I did in 2001. So obviously you are under, so you don't feel anything, but there's no surgical incisions. So it's not like they're slicing you open and just digging in your body or anything like that. So the things that you see on movies and stuff like that, that's a myth. So what they do is they use long needles and they put the needle into your pelvic bone because that is the bone with the most, is bone marrow rich. And so they put it into your pelvic bone and they aspirate your bone marrow out. They only allow to take out 5%. And it's something that your body regenerates within 3 to 4 weeks. So it's not something that you're going to walk around thinking, well, what if I need my bone marrow? You get your bone marrow back and you're not feeling lethargic or anything like that in the meantime. So once they do that, the process is about 30 to 45 minutes. When you come to, there is a little tenderness and soreness on your back where they went in to get the bone marrow. And not your back, your pelvic bone. And for like 2 days for me, like if I was to drop something on the floor, I would leave it on the floor because obviously you don't want to bend that area. But that was the extent of my discomfort. Now, mind you, also, there's no expense for the donor. The recipient's health insurance pays for everything. Your travel to and from the hospital, your checkups, everything.
Mm.
The second procedure, the one I did December 1st, 2015, that one is very, very simple. They're doing that procedure over 80% of the time. So more than likely, you would not even experience the surgical procedure. So the non-surgical procedure, a nurse would come to your home, your school, or wherever it is every day for 5 days at the same time to give you a shot.
Mm.
That shot is called filgrastim, and I'm probably saying it incorrectly. But the purpose of that is, and you might have heard it sometimes on commercials when you hear people that have cancer and they say, hey, they take filgrastim to build up their white blood cells and bone marrow. So basically, that's what you take. It's not chemo or anything like that. You're not going to lose your hair, anything like that. It's only going to make you produce extra stem cells. So then on the day of the process, so for me, it was at Stanford University Cancer Hospital. You get there, they put you in luxury seats. They put movie screens in front of you, and they're all just for you. And I was excited because I was working on my doctorate program and I hadn't seen television in quite some time. So that was exciting. But so they put a needle in one arm and it comes out, your blood comes out in a tube, and they aspirate your blood out. Behind you, they're separating the stem cells from your blood. And your other arm is a needle, and they're giving you back your blood. So there's no waste. You won't feel lightheaded or anything because you don't even donate blood. So it's just the stem cells in the bone marrow. And that process does take about 4 to 6 hours, but there's no soreness afterwards. You can get up and run afterwards, and your daily life. So there's no stiffness for a day or two, like I said I had with the other procedure. And you save a life.
Wow. That's heavy stuff. Everybody, I'm speaking to Dr. Andrea Gillespie. She's from angelsindisguise.org. That's the website. And what she is explaining to us today, and if you got in late, I think you should start at the beginning of this interview so you can listen to the whole thing, talking about the importance of donating bone marrow. And I can tell you what, some of these, these cancers that you talk about, I've lost people in my family to some of them. And so I'm definitely listening very intensely. And everybody, if you could, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. And also on a secondary, unrelated note as well, the Women of Wealth Weekend is coming up this week with Fly Nubian Queen. They got about 21 different experts, all women from all different backgrounds that cover everything related to wealth, from relationships and money to creating side hustles to making money, teaching an online class, etc. A lot of professionals. So if you're interested and you want to take a look, go to womenofwealthweekend.com. It's right there on the screen. So Dr. Gillespie, let me ask you this. When you talk about giving bone marrow, if I give one time, is my bone marrow always available for someone to use forever? And then I've given and I'm done. Or are there people that just sort of give regularly, like maybe once a year to create extra bone marrow for more people? How do people tend to give? Like, what sort of pattern do they have?
Okay, so that's a lot of questions there. So first of all, you can't just blindly donate your bone marrow and they store it for later use. It's only viable for about 48 hours.
Oh, really? Yes. Interesting. Yeah. So how do I know that they need me? Like, how does that work?
They will not contact you until you become a match with someone. And because it's so rare for Blacks to even become a match with Blacks, a lot of people are on the registry that never gets called. And yes, so it's very rare for like me to have been a match with 2 different people. So that's very uncommon. So I felt like, okay, so there must be a message here. I need to spread the word. I need to get this out here.
God is trying to tell you something. Go ahead.
Yes, it is. So once you get the call, it's not, drop whatever you're doing, run to the hospital type thing. So each time that I was contacted, I did not donate until nearly a year later. And the reason is when the recipient is first diagnosed, the first thing that they do is to go out and see if they can find a match if comes to that, because before you do the bone marrow transplantation or even think of that, they first exhaust all other means. So they go through chemo and radiation and whatever tests and things that they want to try. They do that first. And then they look at bone marrow transplantation. So that's another importance of why we need to be on the registry, is because once that person is at the point of needing bone marrow, that is their last life-saving effort that's available to them.
Okay.
So it's very critical. And it's not just because our HLA genetic marker is so diverse that matches are so difficult. It's also because we're not on the registry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like this, right? I mean, I want to paraphrase it to make sure I understand it, so it hopefully helps everyone watching to understand. So you're not telling people like go to the hospital right now and get the procedure right now. You're saying just put your name on the list so that if you're needed, you'll step up and save a life, right? So it's not like I'm saying, go ahead and, I'm going to go through this procedure and maybe they'll need my marrow, maybe they won't. You're saying get on the list, and then if someone's dying and you are a match, which it sounds like the likelihood is pretty low, but if you are a match, you get the opportunity to save someone's life. Is that correct?
That is correct. And once you, I didn't finish that process. So once they do contact you and say, yes, we're ready for you, you still don't just drop everything and run to the hospital. There's a process. So there's a few medical checkups that you have to go through to make sure that you're healthy. So they draw your blood, they test for everything. So I look at it as the best 1-year annual physical checkup ever.
Yeah.
They x-ray you, they do everything, because they're not just interested in your bone marrow to save this person's life. They want to make sure that you're okay as well. And so they're not just harvesting it and saying, we don't care what your outcomes are. And so after you do all of that, it could take about another 2 weeks and before you actually do the procedure. And also to join, when you say, call in and give your name, it's a little more than that. It's not difficult, but it's a little more. For example, this is, can you see that? This is the kit to join the registry. So what you do, and I'll give you the call. There's a text to join, and then you can get this kit in the mail. So remind me to please tell you the text to join information. So this is what you get in the mail. And inside of it is 2 cheek swabs. It's a little bright. It's hard to see. Okay. So what you do is you take 1 cheek swab. You swab it only on one side of your cheek for 10 seconds. Then you place it here under the sticky. And then you take the second one and you do the same thing. And you do it on the other cheek for 10 seconds. And then once you do that, and also, I'm sorry, there are some questions that you must answer too, like what is your contact information in case you do become a match, and the contact information for 1 or 2 other people in case you move and you forgot to change your address and update your stuff with the registry. So but once you get this and you finish with the cheek swabs, you put it in the return addressed envelope and just drop it in the mail.
Okay.
For your call.
Okay. So to summarize, we're talking about how to position ourselves to be considered so we can save a life of someone in our community only if they need us after they've exhausted every available option. And we are literally protecting that we're the guardians between life and death. We're the guardians between, the life you live and going to heaven. Then what we can do is we can text the number, which you'll give us that information in a second, right? Okay. Yes. And then I will get a kit. And when I get my kit, because I say I'm using possessive language now, because I'm definitely gonna do this. And just so you all know, I didn't know Dr. Gillespie before this interview. She, it wasn't like I wasn't interested in what she had to say, but I like to hear things. And, I encourage you guys to be critical thinkers. And I want you to do things after you've processed it, not because somebody told you. But I've heard you. So once I do the text, I'm going to get my kit. I'm going to swab the inside of my mouth a couple times, mail it back, and then I will be in the registry, and I will, almost like the National Guard, be there to ready to serve in the event that that rare case, it sounds like, that someone matches with me and they need my bone marrow, which would give me the opportunity to save someone's life. Did I say that correctly?
You sure did.
All right. That makes me feel pretty good. I don't know about y'all. Give me a yes or no in the chat. I'm feeling kind of proud right now. This is good. Like, this is, because there's something fulfilling about knowing that you're protecting your community, right? Like, we are protecting ourselves. And I don't know if you ever been here before, watched any stuff we do here at Dr. Gillespie, but we're very big on doing for self and Black strength and wealth and protection and Black family and protecting Black women and women protecting the men and all of us protecting the children. And so I feel like this fits into that, right? Because we know how important our health is. So, Dr. Gillespie, you mentioned the text information that you wanted to share.
Yes. So if you want to join, all you have to do is text the word "stand up." Do not put don't put a space in between stand and up. So just one word, stand up. Text it to 61474. And then that's when they'll ask you questions as far as what's your name, your address, your contact information, and whether or not you have some health issues that would preclude you from donating, such as if you had cancer in the past 5 years, and high blood pressure, and some things that is prevalent in the Black community. If you have sickle cell anemia, you cannot join. But it will ask you all of those questions. Once you finish that, it'll send you the kit in the mail, and you just complete it and send it back. Now, I must say, you can join and donate if you're between the ages of 18 and then you age out at 61. You can join for free up until the age of 45. Once you're 45, they will charge you $100 to join. And that's just to offset processing your kit and your HLA genetic marker. The $100 is a tax write-off as well.
All right.
It's not my company that's doing that. That is the Bone Marrow Registry.
All right. Well, you know what? This is really interesting, and I should make sure I say your name. People are asking your name. This is Dr. Andrea Gillespie, or Indria. I'm sorry, Dr. Indria Gillespie. She's from angelsindisguise.org. And Dr. Gillespie, is there any special way that people can actually reach out directly to you or to your organization? Just go to the website, or is there another way that you prefer?
You can do both. Either way, you can go to the website. There's a contact button on there, or you can email me directly. And by the way, my name is Indiria. It's a typo.
Indiria. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. It's a typo on my birth certificate.
Oh, so, really? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes. So my email address, it's long because my name is long. It's angels-in-disguise.org, or simply go to the website if that's too much for you.
All right. Well, everybody, if you could take a second and please give a digital thank you and a digital round of applause to Dr. Gillespie for her excellent work. That's the website right there on the screen. You let her know that you appreciate what she's doing by saving lives and doing this important work. Also, here's the text. If you want to join the registry to make yourself available in the event that somebody matches with you and they need bone marrow to stay alive, that's how you can text to get on the list. And once you send the text, the word stand up, no space in between, to 61474, you will receive the kit. that will get you onto the bone marrow registry. It's important that our people do it because we have very complex. She mentioned, see, I told you I was taking notes. Our HLA genetic marker is very complex because Black people are special, and we are God made us in a real special soup. So our HLA genetic marker is complex, which means we need more donors to save more lives. And so there we go. So that's what it is. Quick question I want to ask you, Dr. Gillespie. Your organization, is this a group that you run, or are you part of the team, or like how do you raise money? Can people make donations and stuff like that?
Please.
Okay, tell me more.
I am the founder of Angels in Disguise. So I was inspired after my second donation. I had saved a life. So it is a nonprofit organization. So whatever donations you make, they are tax deductible. You can go on the website. There's a donate button on there. You can donate using PayPal or credit card. Also, there are some marketing collateral on there, some T-shirts and mugs. You can purchase T-shirts and things of that nature, and that'll help us also as far as giving us some program income so that we can get the word out there more. Also, before we move on, there was something else I would like to say, just to let you know how difficult it is for Blacks to become a match. So because we're underrepresented on the registry, if you think about it, there's 13% of Blacks that represent the population in the United States. However, we represent less than 7% of the population on the registry. So there's a huge disparity there. And then if you add that diversity of the HLA genetic marker, that's what makes our number so low. Where our match rates is 23%. And the nearest ethnicity to us, because we're the lowest of any ethnicity, is our Hispanics at 46%. So they're double our numbers, even though their numbers aren't great. They're double our numbers. And Native Americans have a 57% match rate.
Wow. This is really interesting. I'm appreciative of our mutual friend Shantae Pruitt for making this arrangement, because I didn't know. I mean, she reached out and mentioned that I should invite you in for an interview, and I was glad to do it because I think the world of Shantae. But now that you've actually educated all of us, and I'm really happy you did that. So thank you. And by the way, I just went to your website as you were speaking. I just made a donation. So if you go to Angels, it's something that I'm really persuaded by. So the website is right there on the screen, angelsindisguise.org. If you would like to support. You guys know the importance of us supporting our own institutions, our own organizations, our own businesses, and because freedom ain't free. If you want to be free, you got to pay your bills. So let's support people that are doing good work in the community. So I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Indira. I appreciate all your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And so everybody give Dr. Gillespie a digital thank you, digital round of applause as you hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button on your way out. And don't forget also that this weekend we have the Women of Wealth Weekend event that's happening. It's going to be really good. In fact, Dr. Gillespie, I should show you the site because you're going to be impressed. This is Lene Javette is actually running this, and they've gathered all these Black women experts in all areas of wealth and economics. And so here is, you see so many women, it's over 20 women with all different backgrounds, from Cassandra Cummings with Stocks and Stilettos, Constance Carter, who owns the largest Black real estate firm in California, Vicky Dillard, who's just world famous, and Jade Arundel, who's an amazing activist, and Simone Kissan, who's in the cannabis industry, Cheyenne Muhammad, the wealth doula. We've got insurance corporate, Dr. Nicole Price, Charlene Boyd. So a lot of great women. Even my fiance is participating, Dr. Alicia. She's a full professor of social work and a couples counselor. So they're doing a session on financial lovemaking. So this is what it is. The womenofwealthweekend.com. I won't be there because Black women are speaking. And when Black women are speaking, I know when to shut up. But if you are interested in being a part of this, the URL is right there on the screen, womenofwealthweekend.com. So take a look at that as well. So thank you again, Dr. Gillespie. It was great. And you guys take care and have a great day. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.